Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a super visceral, deeply personal journey into the ultimate winner's mindset, drawn straight from our source material. Let's get right into it.
We've all been there, right? You're staring at something so complex you feel like your brain is literally about to explode. It's that immense, crushing pressure of a steep learning curve. But today, we're going to uncover exactly how a small minority pushes through that exact storm to achieve greatness.
Section 1. The Winner's Morning Mindset. Waking up with intent. Your personal hero's journey actually kicks off the exact second you open your eyes in the morning. Your mindset has to lock on to one single word immediately: win. And to make that happen, our source tells us you need a strict mental block list. If success is what you're after, you've got to aggressively block out fear, doubt, failure, quitting, and negative thoughts. You literally cannot afford to give them an inch of space in your head.
Picture walking through the classroom door. You have to mentally and even visually separate yourself from the pack. The person on your left, they might be super pessimistic. The person on your right, totally zoned out. But you are locked in. You absolutely refuse to let that negative energy mess with your focus.
Moving on to Section 2. Conquering classroom confusion. Navigating the bad days.
Look, let's just face the first real hurdle here. There are going to be days when you have absolutely zero earthly idea what your professor is talking about. It happens to the best of us. But when that confusion hits, our source lays out a strict rule of 3 for unacceptable reactions. You cannot throw a pity party, you cannot tap out, and you definitely cannot throw in the towel. You just don't retreat. Ever.
Instead of pulling back, you got to take these 3 proactive steps. 1. Flat out refuse to tap out. 2. Physically go and knock on their door. And 3. Demand clarity. Tell them you only have one option, and that's succeeding in their class, but right now you're lost and you need help. Honestly, a teacher will bend over backwards to help a student who shows that kind of fire.
Because if you just stay quiet, well, settling for mediocrity is basically setting yourself up to fail. By not taking action, you're practically violating your own DNA, accepting an outcome you simply weren't built for. Failure by silence? That is definitely not in your genetic code. All right, Section 3, HWPO, the grind. Distancing yourself from the pack.
So now we're getting into the core of the journey, the real, unglamorous, heavy lifting phase. Tell me, do you ever feel like you're just underperforming? Look, you aren't the first person to question your abilities or feel like anxiety is trying to derail all your lifelong dreams. That storm, it's something literally every high achiever goes through.
But the fix is right here. Hard work pays off. HWPO. It's not just some cheesy cliche. Our source frames this as the absolute foundational law for success. And honestly, it's the ultimate cure for imposter syndrome.
This idea is perfectly captured by the quote, "If it were easy, everyone would do it." The winner's mindset is absolutely terrified of the easy route because they know this fundamental truth. You only get out exactly what you put in, no shortcuts.
And that means you've got to commit to the grind cycle. You pour your heart and soul into your homework. You pour your heart and soul into your exams. And the payoff? You sleep like a baby. When you pour every single ounce of your being into this relentless cycle, your eventual success becomes a total foregone conclusion.
Section 4. Redefining the failure illusion. The abyss and the resurrection.
Every great story has a dark moment, an abyss. You've made the ultimate investment, right? You've given it absolutely everything, investing your literal and metaphorical blood, sweat, and tears into this brutal academic grind. And then the unthinkable happens. What if, after all of that, you still fail? Just let that sink in for a second. It's a heavy, terrifying thought that kind of haunts every single one of us. But here's the resurrection. You never fail, you never lose, you only learn. This right here is the major emotional pivot of our whole explainer. You've got to realize that life is going to knock the absolute mess out of you sometimes. But it is not the end of the road. It's literally just part of the process.
You look at that setback and you completely flip the script. Because of this setback, you say to yourself, I am stronger, I am wiser, I am smarter, and I am hungrier than ever. You just watch as that abyss of failure turns into your absolute ultimate superpower.
And that brings us to Section 5, Awakening Your Inner Success, Breaking Through the Storms.
You've made it through the worst, and the source material leaves us with this incredible, empowering reminder. You were born with everything you need to pass every class with flying colors. Seriously, you were born to be spectacular.
You already have all the tools baked right into you to overcome absolutely any academic storm.
So here is your final directive. Jump over those obstacles. Go around those pitfalls. Push straight through the adversity. Whatever gets in your way now, you've got the exact blueprint to completely demolish it.
Because there's a dormant volcano of success living inside of you. All that hard work, all those failures you brilliantly reframed, they've built up this massive, unstoppable force deep inside your core. And what's it doing right now? It's just waiting for you to grant permission for it to erupt. That power, it isn't external. Nobody else can hand it to you. It's always been right there inside you, desperately waiting for your own green light. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. Will you grant your inner volcano of success the permission to erupt today? That choice is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I really encourage you to take that huge step today.